for the meeting, which you can copy and paste. If I put the YouTube into the meeting, if you pull that up or try that link, you'll see a live stream of the meeting. So you can have hundreds of thousands of people potentially, watching a meeting. Now, a few seconds are back, and now you've got the double voice, which is why I'm shut it down. There you go. Well, hopefully you get the gist. Okay.
Essentially, any meeting, as you probably know, once you start getting more than a handful of participants, it becomes quite difficult to manage. At the moment, we have a hard limit of 50. I believe that's increasing to 100.
Yep.
If ever you needed 100, but then when you start getting to seriously big numbers, if say you wanted to do a whole company-wide presentation, then just simply live stream straight out. So it's really powerful.
It's quite smart.
We do one every Friday. So as the last hour of the day, they do a group company meeting. So having capabilities like be able to just live stream it makes it far easier than all the old school ways that everyone used to try and bodge that to get it to work.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you've got, I can mute people, I can kick them out, and actually, if they're sharing a screen, I can actually take control as well. So you can do a bit of via that. It's not on the web version yet, but if you're running the virtual office application, you can take control of the screen as well. So you've got a bit of screen control too.
One thing that's really powerful there, you see the blue line where the cursor is there.
Yeah.
So actually, you may have this sometimes. Some people just, for whatever reason, speak a lot louder or happen to have their voice right next to the microphone. So you can actually control for yourself individual people's volumes.
Okay.
So we have a guy in my team called Gary who can't talk without shouting. So now whenever we have meetings, we can at least minimise his volume.
Is that the meeting organiser who has that power, or?
I think anyone can do that for themselves, yeah, because obviously it's showing from that there. Yeah. So that's to them.
Yeah, so there you go. Speak, just so I can hear you, Mark.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's good, right? Just make sure I've put you back. Okay. So yeah, that's some meetings now. Again, so you can join from a web page. That you can join. There are mobile apps and certainly the virtual office app. You can join as a guest to join these meetings. So everything you see at the moment, you can also do from your mobile app as well. So okay, so that is meetings. Again, Mark, I hopefully haven't anything I've forgotten within meetings.
No, I think that's everything covered in there.
Good, okay. So we do facts, which tends to be a Marmite moment. I mentioned facts and they either grin and laugh like, what century are you from, or they do it, but we do have desk-to-desk facts. So you can send and receive from the mobile client, sorry, not the desktop client. Okay. And then from here, it's sort of a basic functionality like, we have some inbuilt call queues, so you can sort of log in, log out from there. And there are sort of around preferences, some call forwarding settings, which I'll actually show you somewhere else. But so in terms of the end user and the desktop client, that is it.
So that's a new thing, Matt. Have you seen that, the call queues, now that you can just access straight from there?
Oh, yeah, it's been there for a while.
It has for you, but not for me.
You're going to be a member of a queue, to be fair. Otherwise, it doesn't appear.
Exactly.
So these are a couple of my test ones, but yeah. Okay. So I'm happy with that. Again, if you need me to jump back, I can. I'll move on to analytics. I think it's probably the next best one.
Ross, what do you like for time? I know we had it in originally till 3:30.
No, I'm easy for time. Yeah, I'm not going back to the office today, so.
So you're wanting it to finish quite early then?
We're going on the pub, really. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good one, just actually.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I mention anything that you really don't want to see, again, I'm far away from start, so even if you did offend me, it wouldn't really matter. But I'm not easily offended, so we can cover what you want. But this is the analytics. So it's web-based, so long as you've got internet access and username and password, you can access. Our reports tend to go from the very big to the very small. We have 3 levels. So the first level is something we call essentials. So you get these reports. So this is the company summary. So this is all calls on the system based on your date range. This is actually a corporate system, but you can sort of filter down. So one of the missed calls. Okay. So clearly don't ring us at 2:15. It's tea break time, whatever it is. We get a sort of flavour of what's going on, and that will drop down then to extension summary. So you get your sort of prerequisite pie charts, which will pop up. Okay. What's quite nice is you get this sort of a summary of users. So if I pick on Mr. Taylor, we can see what he's done today. There you go. We actually bring up a dashboard of the individual based on the date range. This is what Mark's done today. Okay, so he's done a bit of outbound calls. Where you miss calls. Oh, I bet you're in meetings, Mark. Yeah, because you're.
It's all Tom Croft.
I mean, you're very studious, so you can't. But you get again, so you can look at the number of calls he's made, etc., etc. And then you break it down to your sort of CDR, which is your raw data. Your line of text for each leg of the call. Okay. Now those 3 reports can be scheduled. There are 2 types of scheduling, essentially, where you'll be notified that the report is available. You can come here and download it, or you can actually be emailed it. So the last 2 reports you can be emailed. So at a particular date and time, and it will send them out to you. Okay. And then we have things like active calls. One that people quite like is unreturned. So what we're looking at here on the date range is the telephone number of all the calls coming in that they either hung up or they went through to voicemail compared to numbers dialed out. So all these people here have rung in and not been called back, including me, by the looks of it. Okay. So sales environment, they're warm leads, aren't they? These people are rung in potentially. Wanted to spend money and they weren't answered or called back. Support potentially upset people. So you use things like calls by DDI, the marketing campaign, and you get a sort of giant busy lamp field. So this is an employer response. So this is all the people on an 8x8 application. So you can see in real time whether they're logged in, whether they're available, etc. And you can filter this down to individual users, sites, groups, those sorts of things. So again, I'll pick on Mark. There you go. You're busy. Okay.
Do not disturb. Stop people messaging me during the demo.
So you get those reports. Everybody has those reports. Whether you have access to them or not is entirely up to you. The next level up is from an X4 actually. So these are the reports that you wouldn't normally have. So I'll sort of flip over them very quickly. But you have some specific rules around queues and ring groups. So there's sort of there's an inbuilt queue. So these aren't particularly customizable. They sort of refresh every 5 seconds for the counters and every 10 minutes or so for the timers. But you can monitor your call queues and your ring groups. And then we have another level up, which again is an X4 license, which is around call quality, which might have some benefit for you guys in that you're multi-site. So because all the calls route through us, we essentially measure the speech, the RTP. We get diagnostic information from the Polycom and the applications, so we can tell you whether the call quality was any good, or at least arguably tell you whether the call quality is any good. So this is our corporate system for the last 20 odd days, and we're saying that less than 1% were fair or poor. Again, this is a broad overview, but we can actually drill down to individual calls, and our support department use this. So if you were to ring in and say you had a faulty call, they would look into this. But obviously I'm going to pick an excellent call, but you get a load of geek information. So again, your IT team, multi-site, what handset it was. This is an amount of packet loss and sort of jitter and how spread out it is amongst the calls. So you get a load of information, public IP address, etc. Okay. And you can also see where the call was made to and from. I know I'm pretty sure he wasn't in the middle of the sea, but you never know. If you do a drop down, you can see where the call was made to and from. Okay.
I'd say, you might want to take one of these licenses, so you've got access to it. So you can say, if someone at one of the remote sites says, we've got issues with call quality, you can look on and go, that's because you're using your mobile over a 3G connection rather than anything else, because you can see what device, whether it went out over public internet or whatever else.
Yeah. With this, you also get a sort of device report. You actually see where they're logged in as well. So, on your system, and it is based on a public IP address. So just bear that in mind. But you'll get a similar page up, honest, with details of where everybody is. So we've clearly got some guys in the US. If I drop it from a great height, it always seems to be near water. So we'll see whether that happens. Yes, always. So yeah, so you can see where where their devices are going to be logged in. Okay, so you get both. But what's quite nice on the call quality, when I go back up to it, is there's a certain amount of if you've got a problem with a call, it's where is that problem, and it could be that we tell you the call was excellent, but actually it went to Mark's mobile, and it was really choppy for him. But what we can say is, while it was within our remit, while it was within our network, we sent and received all the speech as and when we got it. So at least you can know that it's a carrier problem, those sorts of things. It's quite helpful in that sense.
It's always a big thing as well. When we talk to customers, the main thing everyone talks about is risk. So it's like, well, look, if I'm putting this new system in and we're getting any reports of poor quality, that's on my head. So whilst we will give all the guarantees around uptime, what we obviously can't control is where other people are for those calls. So at least now, if you ever had someone complaining of poor quality, you can say, well, okay, let's have a drill down, and you can see exactly the reason why. So again, if you know it's a platform issue, you report it straight to us. But if you can turn around and say, yeah, you know what, you're on a weak 3G on your iPhone in the middle of the sea, well, come on guys, what do you expect? So it does, it's just another way of taking that risk of a new solution away.
And from your perspective, from a management, much easier to manage this single interface and manage sites knowing what's happening with call control.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive, to be honest with you. At least we've got nothing like that at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, literally nothing. Like, in terms of calls drop or, we're pretty much in the dark.
Yeah.
So it could be anything.
Yeah.
And that's one of the big things. Another, I don't know how much more reporting you'd show, Matt, but another one we do is the business hours report. As you can very quickly see, during what you would class as your business hours, how many calls are coming in, if calls are being missed outside of those hours. So actually, we've had some customers that have run those reports and seen, actually, we're getting a lot of calls in after 5:30. So maybe it makes sense to have a number of staff work for another hour, because who knows what calls we're missing. Before, we didn't know we were missing those calls. So now you actually have those straight reports on. Oh, in fact, yeah, there's a report.
Okay, so it breaks it down to DDI essentially, but yeah, so you've got these. And these reports are expanding. So the business report that Mark talked about is relatively new. We've now got sort of reports around meetings. I think at the moment it's relatively basic, who attended and how long. But these are, essentially expanding. So, they are increasing, improving, etc.
Right.
Okay. So, shall I go to the configuration then?
Yeah,
please.
Okay.
Are you okay with the brass? Anything else you wanted to see on reports?
No, that's absolutely fine. To be honest, it's spot on.
Okay. So essentially, we have a web page you log in, and depending on all the buttons, depends on what you get access to, just as a sort of flavor. So this has got all the contact center and everything. But what we're looking at is what we call Virtual Office Config Manager. So this is your, I should say, UC system rather than phone system, but I'm a bit old, so I'll do it. So it's sort of built like this. So this is the control of the whole system. Now, sort of have your programming here on the left. On the right-hand side, you've got a load of user guides, things like the call queues, etc. At the top, you've sort of got a drop-down bar for the programming is here and a few extras that are not. Okay. What are you using at the moment to sort of program? What are you sort of used to?
To be honest with you, it's all done off site. We've got a third party that does all the programming on the Siemens for us, which is a pain in the backside because he's not the most contactable of people. So we can wait 2 days to get a name changed on the phone. So
Right. Okay.
sorry.
The reason I mention it is because if you, I'm old school PBX and all that, where it used to be difficult and exactly that, you had to ring somebody up who then dialed in and did whatever it is.
Yeah,
And I've actually had people come on training courses with me and complain that VoIP systems are too easy. Well, there you go. But yeah, I mean, all this is available to you. So everything's built around a user essentially. So you create a user, and then you give them abilities. So it may be that you give them admin abilities so that they can, have access to this page and administer the system, or you may give them one of our licenses, in which case they get telephony abilities. And it's as simple as adding the license here, and you can move them up and down. This happens to be a full contact center user as well. But again, I can remove, take a license away, give them a different one. I can allocate phone numbers or, a phone number or phone numbers, change your extension number. They had a device, I can do it all from this sort of GUI. It's all really straightforward, what the CLI is. I mentioned earlier about call forwarding rules. So some of this page will users can access to, but you've got everything is busy, no answer, and we've got most things have something called internet connection is down. So all of our applications register to us, and there's sort of a keep alive every 60 seconds, 2 minutes. If that goes down, that means you can no longer contact us. That's what we consider an internet connection is down. So you could then, reroute to your mobile, to another site, whatever it may be. So these settings are within your queues, your ring groups, and your users. Actually, within a user, not only have you got your busy no answer, but you can get even more expansive. Now, there is an argument to say you've got a mobile app, you've got a desktop app, and you've got a hard phone. We're going to get you. But, if you want, you can still forward, and you can do that for anyone, anonymous callers, or pick a particular CLI, pick a time, and you can decide where it wants to go to, and you can have multiple destinations, and they can ring sequentially or simultaneously. And if they don't play after that, you can send it off elsewhere. So you can, from a user point of view, you can route your call massively, and you can decide whether a user has access to this or not. Okay. But yeah, it's all, even things like music and hold, what they can dial. It's all point and click, relatively straightforward. Okay. Once you create a user, then you sort of allocate them to your ring groups, your queues. Your auto attendant is similarly point and click. You press 1 for this, press 2 for that. There's even a text to speech engine that you can so you can test these things off beforehand. And there's language on this as well. So depending on the language, will depend on the language that you that will be text to speech. So if you choose French, you've obviously got to type French. Otherwise, you'll have an hello moment where they have a silly accent for reading out English. But again, it's all particular point and click. Now, there's a lot, and I appreciate the short time in here I can go through. Is there anything specific that you want to look at within the configuration?
No, that seems pretty much all above board. Yeah, it'd be good to have that back in house. To be honest with you, it's the first company I've worked for where I haven't had control of the phone system. It's rather frustrating.
Yes.
So.
And the good thing is you can access it from anywhere. You just need the URL and log in.
Okay.
And any changes you make on it, as soon as you save them, they're live. So it's really quick, really easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of differences, quickly. So ring group. If all you guys are in a ring group, I can ring the call and you can all ring, or it can distribute through you. But if you're all busy, the group is busy and the call has to go somewhere else, either a ring group, an external number, whatever it may be. And a queue is what it says. If you're all busy, it will queue. And the only limitation is to be a member of a queue, you need to have an X2 license. That's the only thing to bear in mind on that, really. Other than that, auto attendants, ring groups, call queues, you create as you see fit. A couple of other things we didn't talk about. There is a barge monitor whisper, which essentially is that sort of a training, arguably. So Mark, needs a little bit of help on some of his presentation, so I would barge into his call, listen to what's going on, and dial another code. I can then whisper into his ear some advice, and in the unlikely event he messes up, I can actually barge in and take control of the call. Those sorts of things. You got your pickups and that sort of stuff. So
good thing for new starters as well, just to be able to sit there and listen in on calls, and you can have it set so they are purely just listening, as opposed to if they accidentally say something, it's going to get picked up.
Yeah, so there's a few little nice things. Again, you don't have to be in the same, same room or even same country for these things to work, because it's cloud. That's one of the joys of that. So there is a switchboard console. So there's a few things we haven't touched on, but we could. I appreciate we've got 4 minutes, so really it's whatever you would like to cover from here. Again, Mark, assuming I haven't forgotten something massive that you think I should have?
No, I don't think so. I mean, we've got a bit longer time-wise, if you have as well. But no, there's nothing I would say that's been missed. I think, Ross, it's on to you if there's any areas on there that things like, I don't know, if ring groups are a big thing you use within the organisation, see how easy it is to set them up.
I imagine it's pretty much straightforward as in most systems.
It is, and there's kind of no real limit to how many you may or may want to set up as well.
So you aiming, Ross, on advertising one main number that's going to go to one receptionist, and they will field all the calls between the offices, or at the moment end goal, or
at the moment basically we haven't got a reception as such. It's just one. It's one phone number. It goes to about, I think it rings 4 or 5 different phones, and it's sort of like whoever grabs it first. Yeah. All these people have. We don't have a reception as such, but we've got a department called group support. They'll have their own jobs doing other things, but they just manage the phones. Because to be honest, I think we have about 20 incoming calls a day.
Okay.
So it's not a great deal.
Across the whole, is that just per site?
That's just through our through London. And a good majority of them are probably sales calls. But once people have got people's direct dials and whatnot, or email addresses, a lot of it's just done direct to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I should have mentioned that. It's 20 calls come through the main number as opposed to other people's extensions.
I mean, you could change it so that you put the auto attendant on the main number, because if you know the extension number, please dial it now. Press 1 for this, press 2 for that. So you could, field it even less potentially, or of course fill out even less. But yeah, I mean, you can route it to a ring group or a queue. It's all pretty vanilla stuff, really.
Would the receptionist strike me down that? If not, would the receptionist want the console, or
they would like probably some sort of to see who's busy
and
who's not.
PC and that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
we've got that.
Yeah, Matt, have you got access to the switchboard console just to show what that would look like?
I am just trying to log in as we speak, so bear with me.
So we do have, so I guess it's much more dedicated to the receptionist style function. So a switchboard console for when calls come in, to be able to quickly see, to field them, see who is available, click and transfer out. It's really strong. It is really strong.
I think if you get someone, I don't know, if you can see someone that's calling in lower down the queue, but that person's definitely going to be calling Ross, I think the receptionist can just then push that.
Yeah.
Push that right.
Yeah.
To you so they can sort of still field stuff further down in the queue.
Okay.
And good stuff that you can have on the. If there's an important call for the MD or something like that, and you know it's the MD, you can just.
So the good thing about this as well is it's, as you can see, a URL-based tool as well. So we've had this with a lot of companies that are like, well, yes, we do have a receptionist as such, but we don't have a reception. So they have someone at home now that can field all their calls.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a web-based application, so you'll still need either a soft phone or a hard phone to control with it. But essentially, your calls will load up here. So depending on the number of calls that they can take, they will sort of pile up here, and they can select which ones they want. Again, this is a whole system. This is a demo system, so clearly no one's available. But you can, you can see everyone's about. You can place notes. See a man about a dog. And you can do your usual search by name, etc. So, and see whether they're busy, and it will be a click. So when you're on the call, you're able to transfer, park, voicemail, instant message, etc. So it's a sort of a wider version of the virtual office desktop that you saw previously that a receptionist may well use. And again, we call them branches or sites. You can limit it to a particular one. So again, you could have a receptionist for all 7 sites, potentially taking calls for all 7 sites, should you see fit. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're distributing them amongst a few members anyway. So maybe the switchboard is not required. I think it's an X3. I think it's an X4 license, isn't it, Mark, for a switchboard?
X3.
X3. Okay. So
you could utilise a receptionist if you've got 20 calls coming in there, but you've got all the other sites. You could at least maximise what they're doing by just bringing it all into one receptionist, for example, and then just having one receptionist for the 7 sites, and they just distribute the calls accordingly.
Yeah. So you have all the regional numbers coming into that one person. Yeah.
And then they can just send the calls off.
Yeah.
So that they're then dealing with a reasonable number in the day, and you're sort of maximising what they're doing.
Yeah. No, indeed. That's an interesting point.
yeah, I mean, even things like redundancy. If you've got one site that closes down or whatever, you can reroute the calls to site B. That sort of thing, or even overflow, that sort of thing. So because they're all linked and it's cloud based, you're not controlled by an on-premise piece. So
Just even little things like the notes part's really powerful. So you can say only takes calls between 2 and 4. So maybe your CEO, or if someone's on holiday for 2 weeks, you can have that as a note. So immediately, if someone's calling in, at least the person answering can see that person. No, they're not available, and in fact, I can see they're away until the 18th of August, and then you can see who else maybe in their team is available to transfer to. So it just speeds up interactions for your customers and suppliers that will be calling you.
That's very clever.
Perfect, thank you, Matthew.
okay. Okay for me to drop off while you talk turkey? Yeah.
I think maybe, yeah. Is there anything else that's important that you haven't seen?
No, that's pretty much it. That's very much on point, to be honest with you.
Great.
No, but thanks for your time, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks very much, mate.
Speak later. Cheers. Bye.
Enjoy St Albans.
Yeah, cheers.
So like I say, I mean.